play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.
Biddly, 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 but yes, yo. Jesus. There literally ain't nobody down round here. You know what time it is. Get that badger in and on and over here. We had to move back to get his greatness in. What a result last night. Firstly, start with that. It was amazing atmosphere. Brett, I presumed a few people would be watching boxing, to be fair, but I thought I'd just jump on and do a quick shit vid, a quick shit live before I head on off to work. Obviously, unfortunate result for you today, Brett. You got... was it today that Arsenal... Was it? I can't even remember, man. Fucking hell. Ed's gone already. Yeah. Got beat today 3-0 by Arsenal. But it's no shame getting beat 3-0. We got thumped. Behave yourself, MVG. Gate up a Saturday night stream. I'm around to catch it. Did you enjoy the game then, Jack? Thank you, legendary MVG. 1, 2, 3. Absolute legend, mate. As you well know, legendary. It was amazing last night. Honestly, I actually thought the game went ebbed and flowed a little bit because I thought Forest, that we started really well for the first 5-10 minutes, and then Forest did sort of come into the game, to be fair to them, which is to be anticipated. Everybody bangs on about more Gibbs White and, you know, Anderson in centre. I'm actually going to do a video next week about Ampadu, and because I just think Ampadu's been unbelievable, like genuinely, for ever since the Man City game, a little breakthrough game he had, he's been absolutely unbelievable. So yes, Nipper725, what's good, man? Yes, M. Farke from Melbourne. Gets up with global, baby. Brett was expecting worse before kick-off. Yeah, it's... I didn't watch the game, but you look like you had a few chances, to be fair, Brett. Told you the boys would fight after the Arsenal game, buzzing all Leeds out. We absolutely, man. Yeah, we bounced back, didn't we, with a vengeance. I thought it was brilliant performance all round. It was brilliant, to be honest. When the second goal goes in, the first goal, obviously the crowd get the back up and they start feeling good. But the second goal, it erupted, to be fair. It was like... Because then suddenly the second goal goes in and you go, oh, it's on now. Like, we're in here. We can get something today. You know, like, even ridiculously, there's like a relaxation that sort of happens. Got to say, Aronson again was brilliant. Goodmanson were brilliant. Bogle's run. Gruev's through ball. My man, Dr. Farke. I think, is it Nick Ball boxing tonight? A bit undercard now, won't it, I would imagine. I'm not watching it myself like tonight, but because I'm off to work after this. That's off to Dr. Fucky Facky Facker, and you know it, Dick Dastardly. Love it, mate. I like how, having said I've never heard a Taylor Swift song before, you basically tricked me into listening to one, albeit a parody form. Well played. Nobody messes around. Nick Ball card on the zone, yes indeed. What a game, and everyone shit themselves when the starting 11 came out, Jack me included. Yes, Luke, there's a general wobble when Gruev's in the starting lineup, and because it's deemed as defensive, and the bloke got 2 assists last night. Now, I agree it's more defensive than obviously having Tanaka in there or Longstaff in there. Longstaff's sort of an in-between Gruev and Tanaka, and Tanaka's the more forward-thinking and Gruev's the least forward-thinking, but he got 2 assists yesterday. Probably the best game I've seen him play. Well, I'm going to go with ever, really, because, you know, even in Championship, he wasn't requested to sort of rip anything up or really create chances and stuff, but he did yesterday. That ball through, I mean, he has done that before. That it's not his first rodeo with clip over the top, but the run from Bogle must be a 30-yard run, surely. You know, he runs literally from the right back position. They get so much freedom, and then for the second goal, lovely little touch from Aronson, clips it, just pulls it round corner for James Justin, who makes a brilliant run. So what I mean, the freedom that James Justin and Bogle get to get forward is frightening. It's awesome. They're both just galloping forward, pounding forward, and then they just sort of sort themselves out between them, don't they? And then you've got the cover. That's why when Gruev is in the side with Ampadu, it gives Bogle and James Justin a proper licence to just get forward, because Ampadu or Gruev will sit. You know, Ampadu can play centre-back and Gruev's a defensive-minded midfielder. So it doesn't mean you're being defensive. To be fair to Dr. Farke, we've not turned up to a single game not trying to win the game. I do believe that. Even when we've gone to Liverpool and drawn and stuff, I don't think it's a I don't think it was negative. I just think there's a reality to us. And Forest were good last night, and we battered them really. You know, it got a bit edgy, didn't it, towards end, but that's what happens when you pull away. You get 3 goals. I was buzzing for DCL as well, to be honest. For DCL to get his goal, because you don't want him on a goal drought, because I don't know off the top of my head how many games it's been, but it must be 4 or 5 games where he's not got a goal. I think the last time I remember him scoring was Liverpool, and that got disallowed. He may have scored since. I can't remember off the top of my head. I know Newcastle, that were Aronson that got 2 on it. Well, that 4-3 that game. I can't remember how mental that game was. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a while, a little bit of a drought. And he's still getting chances and stuff. I mean, he hit bar in first half, but you don't want him to end up going on a long barren spell, really. You want him to keep ticking over. And a few people said it was sort of like improvised with chest, but he actually said in an interview afterwards that he's scored that before. He scored with his chest before. It's a interesting method, but you know, it works all the same, doesn't it? It's just about getting a decent touch on ball. Again, in 6-yard box, he is a frightening man, isn't he? We had control of the game. The lads were top class, all Leeds out. Well, yeah, we didn't panic. They had the moments. Like I said, a few shots on goal. They created a few chances as well in both halves. But, you know, we rode it out. Here we go. Gruev had the best game of the year, and Jack gets a long stiff for Gruev, like he's boner for Longstaff. And you know it, mate. And you know it, AO. He was brilliant. You've got to give him his props last night. It was absolutely brilliant. All I can say is done an Aronson, says Dick Dastardly. Aronson, I want to know who has had a bigger turnaround, borderline in world football, never mind in, you know, just in Leeds, never mind in Europe. In world football, who's had a bigger turnaround than Brendan Aronson? Because of the bloke, the turnaround, I mean, he's literally he's in the side on merit now. Everybody goes on about Dr. Farke having his favourites and stuff. He's in the side well and truly on merit, isn't he? He deserves every single minute the man gets. Been brilliant. He was brilliant again yesterday, and it frustrated a little bit. The crowd got a little bit frustrated with him a couple of times when he sort of cut him back when he's got an opportunity to run down wing. But he don't do it. He doesn't have to do it. It's like, you know, it's also been relatively sensible. Because I remember, to be fair, at the start of the season, he would go down wing a little bit more. I'm talking about when he's on halfway line and we're trying to break up and get forward. And he'd overdo it. He'd over exert himself a little bit and then lose his ball, basically. But he wasn't doing that at all yesterday, and he hasn't been doing that for weeks. He's still a bit frustrated. He still ends up on floor a lot, and, you know, there's a lot of fouls going about. But, you know, he's not, I don't think he's weak anymore. After yours and West Ham's results, I'm now believing Forest can be sent down. Well, this is it, Brett. Because I played down how important last night's game was, really. Just saying, well, you know, just see what West... not that I want to wait for other people's results, but you can sort of see what West Ham do. But the reality is, you know, it's West Ham and Forest now, isn't it? And we have pulled away. You know, 9 points now is obviously gone back to 6. But 9 points at the time that's all you want to keep doing, isn't it? You just want to keep getting that space. Because ultimately we've got Chelsea on Tuesday, which I'm off to. But we're going to struggle to get out at that, aren't we? In reality, you know, away down at Chelsea, it's going to be very difficult on a Tuesday night, having excelled herself really last night, exerted a lot of energy. Yeah. Okafor's knee slide was so boss. He proper meant that, didn't he, Okafor? I've got to say, I thought it would probably, in hindsight, I spoke to my brother a bit about Okafor, because I think I've been a bit harsh on him, really. But you just want a lot more from, like, your wide men, don't you? But he does seem like a decent enough character, and that has been said against him, you know, that he can be a bit of a piss and a whinger. But he looks like he's been a really good character. In fact, he speaks really highly of Farke. But he really meant that. He really wanted that, didn't he? And I know they all want to score goals and stuff, but you can see when it's like he exerted a lot of energy in that celebration. And it is good stuff, you know. He wants to succeed, doesn't he? And that's what you don't want, players that come down and think that they're better than the standard of the squad or whatever and then jump ship. So it was probably his best performance yesterday overall. He really put himself about. There was a moment, it was right down the other end, so I'm not 100% certain who it was on because my eyes aren't great. I'm in the cops. It was right down, like, at my right-hand side, right over the other end. But a couple of slide tackles in there, like in quick succession, and he won ball back or he won as a throw-in or something. And we've not really seen that from Okafor, I don't think. He's not put his body about enough. And he's a big old gadge as well. He's a big enough unit to be putting himself about. And he did yesterday, and he got a pretty good applause. I think he sees himself as a big-timer, which is, as long as his attitude's right, that's a good thing, isn't it? That it transcends through the squad then, doesn't it? And as long as Dr. Farke can keep a hold on the, if he's got any attitude problem, but he's not shown any, so you've just got to go with what you know, haven't you, really? And Farke keeps backing him, Dr. Farke keeps backing him. And to be honest, we've got to keep backing Dr. Farke at this point, because, you know, what a job he's doing ultimately. And he really celebrated at end of game in tunnel. He was like, yes, get in or whatever. And it's like, it's not often you see a big smile from him, really. So it's good stuff. Yes, AO, if you could smash a like for us, guys. There's 15th room and we've only got 17 likes. So it'd be much appreciated if you could cozy on up to that like button. It does help, genuinely, the algorithm and all that shit. It'd be way funnier if it was Spurs, though, Brett. Spurs are on. They're really gone, aren't they? They're collapsing. Brett's dedicated to Leeds, and you know it, Luke. Hey, Saturday Night Badgers. Yes, Mingy boy. Yes, Ming getting the love he deserves. Shout out to Legendary one more time for the super chat. Spurs shit in the bed, certainly are. That 12th man panel is a hard listen. I've not listened to it, to be fair. How surreal to have that stadium in the Champo. Our stadium. Oh, fucking hell, you're on about Spursy Stadium. Yeah, I've got you. It would be funny if West Ham overtook Forest and avoided relegation. Next year, it's Brentford. They're going to go down, so they're the ones that we'll have to avoid next year. But, you know, we'll be pushing for top 10 by next year, won't we, with Dr. Farke at the helm. But this year, I still think West Ham will go, and I actually think that I've thought they're a decent side all season, really. But they've had some terrible, torrid performances, and it's going to be hard for them to maintain. So, I mean, Burnley are gone now, that's for sure. Because I thought this the other day, I thought if there's any chance of them pulling a result out for once, Burnley, it were today, wasn't it? Because that is a 6-pointer. Because they're now 11 points off safety, with 13 games to go, and they've won 3 games in 25. You know, we've won 7, which is the same as Brighton, Tottenham and Palace, and obviously Forest, but we got our own back on Forest yesterday, and all that counts is where we are in table. We're joint on points with Tottenham and Palace, 2 points behind Brighton. We're looking up again, 4 points behind Newcastle. You know, it's a madness, really. Obviously, we've got some difficult games coming up, but as we always will have, won't we? The further, like I said the other week, the further you look in front, the harder it gets, doesn't it? Chelsea, Villa, obviously got Birmingham in between that. I'm off to that as well. Man City at home, dreadfully difficult game, but is what it is. Then we've got Sunderland at home. Respect to Brett, but you know that's a winnable game. Crystal Palace is a winnable game. Brentford's a winnable game. Man U away, can't lose that game. And then it's Wolves, Bournemouth, Burnley. You know, and then we're getting. Then last 3 games is Tottenham, Brighton, and West Ham on last day. We do not want it going. We do not want having to be going to London, do we, on last game of the season and needing even a point. The idea of Dr. Farke setting up against West Ham for a point on last day season is a harrowing thought. Do you agree? You must be on board with that, boys. Yes, BMG, what's good, man? What the fuck did we say about Gruev on Thursday? Check the receipts, he was class. But he's been like that a lot without being as obvious. Fucking great player. Absolutely, BMG. He deserves the man of the match yesterday. I thought it was absolutely excellent. I was buzzing for him, to be fair. And he took a bit of a blow as well, didn't he? Because he was down for quite a while. For some reason, every time I've got work that night, and I'm in a bit of a rush to get to work after the game, somebody goes down injured for like 15 minutes, and obviously they don't care about me getting to work, do they? The selfish bastards, you know, as if they're not on enough money as it is, and then they go down. But I can't remember who it were against. It's towards start of the season, and somebody went down. It wasn't not one of our players, and they were down for ages, like 15 minutes, and they were like 15 minutes added on now. Like, I'm already like cutting it as fine as physically possible. The best I could have hoped for is like a few minutes late. And then when that happened, I just thought, oh, I'm going to be so late. So I'm fucking running outside of Ellen Road trying to get a taxi, like, from it. Because I could have just drove, in fairness. But on a Friday night under lights, you think having a few beers with boys, get up. I met Lockie as well last night, which I'm in. Yeah, Lockie graced Ellen Road, and what a performance for him to go watch the boy. I didn't get to see his man Tanaka, though, which is a shame, but shit is as shit does. You got to take what you take. Yes, Mingy, shout out to Mingy. Thank you, dude, for the DCL goal bonus, and you know it. Just what he needed, DCL. Lovely finish. Evening all, Mingy. Sorry, BMG, my dude. Ming's goal bonus, yes, indeed. White Swan, funny how Gruev and Aronson get the most flack. They both always put in a full shift. That's the thing, you've got to, I criticised Aronson, as everybody has over the years, but I criticised him when we went down because of the interviews he was giving and saying, like, I don't really like these relegation battles. They're a bit like, I can't remember the exact phrasing of it. It's obviously 5 years ago now, isn't it? Which is a bit mad, 4 or 5 years ago. But and he was on about, just like mentality-wise and stuff, and I just thought, this is weak. This sounds weak to me, man. Don't be saying this shit. But you can't argue with his mindset, really. It's a hell of a turnaround. It's amazing what he's done, because he really did, he's getting groans. And as a player at home, when you're playing, and the fan base are quite literally groaning and screaming at you at times, takes a big personality, really, and he seems like a calm, cool enough guy, really. But the turnaround is honestly the biggest I think I've seen in my footballing. It's definitely stuff I'm serious about, because obviously I don't miss any Leeds games. So I'm trying to think of like other teams. I'm sure there's been some, but it just seems like Aronson was, doomed at the club, really. And then he obviously left, then came back and got flack for that. Did all right in Championship at times last year, but everybody was still sort of wanting him out of there. And he's been brilliant for us. He has been literally brilliant. He embodies what we're about, really. And I think he can get better. That's the madness. I think he can get much better if he's a bit more, if he gets more and more efficient on the ball, which he is doing. The sky's the limit. He's the best player in league, man. He's the best player in league. Get up. BMG getting the love he deserves. Was it JB on the underlap who said Gruev should only be in a Sunday league in the arse end of nowhere? Didn't age well, that. No, it literally got from Thursday. It didn't even reach the time when I finished the feed. It wasn't even 24 hours and it had gone tits up for him. I think we need to do the dramatic turnaround in Form 11. Yes, BMG, let me write that badger down. Dramatic turnaround. Dramatic turnaround. You can definitely have Aronson as captain for that for me. It was JB Leeds indeed. I can only think Billy Bremner had word with Aronson in his dreams. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's like, what's that, night at Christmas or whatever, when he sees his past, present and future. What's it called? Anybody that watches Underlap knows I don't know what films are called. I've still not seen this parody. One comment was Gruev should be playing on a Sunday back end of nowhere. It's crazy, 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 crazy. Aronson on Friday was like a hybrid of his new self and his former self. He wasn't as bad as he used to be, but not as good as he's been lately. Well, he set the bar quite high, hasn't he, BMG? I was still, he's still integral on that for that second goal, and the way he works back as well. And I know nobody likes saying how hard he works. It's like a naughty thing to say for some reason, and it's like low resolution thinking in. That's where I get my dinosaur tagline from. But working hard is the bare minimum, isn't it? And he does do that every single time. And then, he gets back, wins the ball, and he's winning free kicks, and he's beating players. And, I would like him to be even more direct sometimes, like in and around box. It's also good to see Dan James back, wasn't it, yesterday? And super interesting, because I was actually not concerned about Dan James, because whatever Dr. Farke goes with, I'm backing right now. Or for the duration of the season, certainly. And then hopefully into next season, I think he's the man to take us forward. Dan James, I didn't think could get much of a sniff, really, on the basis that we're not going 4-3-3 anymore. It's very malleable. The formation, I think people get bogged down a little bit with the fact that they think Aronson plays off of DCL, and I don't believe he does. I think it's Okafor and Aronson around him, and then we become a 5 or a 4 in midfield, and then the back line becomes a 5. So when one of them goes, James Justin or Bogle goes into the midfield effectively and becomes the winger, and then we're a 4-4-2. Then Okafor's in with him or Aronson's in with him. It's it's not 4-4-2 because everybody goes crazy when I say 4-4-2. It's a very malleable formation. I was going to say, because I think Farke's the man to take us forward as well. I can't remember who it was. It was either on one of my videos or I was watching, I think it might have been Dr. Farke's post-match interview. And he actually said, there was a comment, and I'm partial to reading comments, me, on other vids. He noted that with some of the morons, some of the idiots that are at other clubs at the moment, Where it's a pleasure to have Dr. Farke. I didn't say Dr. Farke, but I'm putting words in his mouth. It's a pleasure to have Dr. Farke at the club. And truth be told, he's exactly the type of character we need. And I can't believe, really, for life of me, that nobody backed him a little bit more. He's already outdone himself in terms of Norwich. You know, I think that much is obvious. He's clearly didn't have the tools at Norwich. And it's probably a good thing that he took his spanking at Norwich. He took his medicine, didn't he, a couple of times. You know, his character building, in it genuinely though. Like that's why there's no panic in him. That's why I don't get too high, don't get too low. He knows it was a big result last night. He mentioned the other day that what did he say? Like 6 positive results out of the next 14 games or something. He said, or 13 games now. And he says he backs the players to do it, and so do I. We've just got to keep this level of energy up. If we get a bit of a pump in next game at Chelsea, and then potentially, you know, Birmingham, I still want to win that game. I know nobody else does, but I do. And particularly when I'm off tick game, I don't want to be getting up. I'm off out on Saturday night. I don't want to be getting up at 4 in the morning, probably getting in at 3:30 and getting on bus at 5. So, you know, I don't want to be doing that to go watch us get beat by Birmingham. And they've fucked us. They've absolutely fucked us with ticket price. Done as a kipper. It's like more expensive than Chelsea game. And they've given us like 5,000. They've just absolutely hammered us. To be fair, I mean, with those passing skills, he'd be pretty good at Sunday League, I reckon. He'd definitely be good in Sunday League, yeah. Aged badly, and you know it. I slagged Gruev off to Jerry, put me straight, I put my hands up, I was so wrong. Gruev does a lot of stuff that, you know, just goes unnoticed and Gruev's the type of player you want to play with, and you want him to give you the ball so that you can express yourself on the ball, and you want him off the ball. I do understand that frustration in him starting games. I understand why Leeds players can think, why can't we just go for it a little bit more? Like, we're in ascendancy, we're like a good side, like, let's go for it a little bit more. But we go for it in different ways. That's all I'm saying. You know, James Justin gets forward, Goodmanson gets forward, Bogle gets forward. When Stack's playing, Stack gets forward. Obviously, when it's Okafor and Aronson, they're going. So, yeah. Been saying needs wins instead of draws, but your next few fixtures, draws would be nice to just tick along. If we could pick up a couple of points, you know, that's why wins is so massive. When we won last night, I just thought if we can get 3 points out of Villa, Chelsea, Man City, even 2 points out of them next 3 games, that's a good return, isn't it? We've not got to worry too much about how many points are available now in terms of, like, you know, that's 9 points. And if you took 2 from that, you'd think, oh, well, that's... I know Mourinho used to say it all the time, but when you're going for the title, you're better off losing a game because then you strive to win the next rather than, like, drawing a lot. Because if you drew, you know, a 1 result out of the next 3, if you win, I know this is obvious maths, if you win 1 out of the next 3, it's more points than if you draw 2 of them, or if you draw all 3, you've put in a lot of energy, a lot of effort, and you've played 270 minutes and got 2 points rather than playing 270 minutes and getting 3 points, but you've been battered twice. It's like, it just depends how we sort of go. I'm hoping we can just do Chelsea, but you know, Cole Palmer got hat-trick today, didn't he? So hopefully he's not firing on all cylinders from now on. Daniel Farke, Dr. Farke does not tolerate bad attitudes. Of that, there is no doubt, Dick Dastardly. If you could smash a like for us, guys, it does honestly help. We've got 69 in the room, which is a sexy number as well. And we've only got 36 likes, so let's get them likes up to that sexy 69. Be much appreciated. It's free. Free for me, free for you, free for all of us and all the rest of them. We need to keep on that level. It's not impossible that we pick up very little or nothing from the next 3 games, and West Ham might close in. But after that, we have a much easier run, so no panic. Absolutely, we need to just take every game as it comes, and then literally, if it's a bad result like it was against Arsenal, you wipe the slate clean, don't you? And you keep moving. Reginald got to keep moving, keep going. I need to see this Parody, don't I? I think Palace are possible favourites to finish 18th. West Ham look like they could keep this form up. But if Palace don't start getting results, they're banging trouble. They have collapsed, haven't they? They have absolutely collapsed. Do they play tomorrow? Yeah, they've got Brighton tomorrow, which is obviously no gimme. And when you're not winning games, this is the run. They're on a run that's what I panicked about us doing. Because it's all right getting points on board early doors. But if you go on a barren run of 15 games or whatever madness it is, what Palace are up to, you're going down, aren't you? But I think Palace have probably got enough. I still think West Ham are going to struggle to I mean, I don't know. Could catch Forest, obviously. You know, we put Forest at sword. I'd actually like it if Forest went down, to be honest, but it wouldn't be a bad thing West Ham going down neither. Your beaters at Ellen Road were terrible away. I certainly hope so, Brett. Mate. Imagine Stoke fans turning up to that Spurs stadium, lost in space, lost in music, caught in a trap, no turning back. What's every place worth in the Premier League incrementally? Don't know, is it $1 million? Be in millions, won't it? Trusting Dr. Farke. Stay positive, Jack, as you always do. Thank you very much, Alan Clark. It can be difficult, can't it, brother? It can be difficult. But when we get results like that, everything's going to be all right. The fire beast knows, Luke, and you know it. Night games. My man, Dr. Farke, don't get beat in night games. Fact. Factual. The fire beast. DCL's chest goal was nice. What a get he has been. Unbelievable, big man. And he was slagged off as well. Like the 49ers don't know what they're doing. International footballer. Granted, of a few years ago. Premier League footballer. Of that, there's no doubt. You've just been promoted. You couldn't have asked for a better signing than DCL. And I actually think DCL, Longstaff been out of the team more than I'd like. But obviously, that's a lot to do with injury. Stack was a little bit more of an unknown, but he's done the job. He's brilliant. Goodmanson was an unknown. I'm talking about before anybody says about, I watch him every week. Well, I didn't, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm on about unknown in terms of being in the league. We've done this before where we go around Europe and everybody wants these European names and they turn up and the shit. Everybody that's turned up this year has been really good. James Justin, obviously, he understands the league. That's a good signing. Longstaff understands the league. Stack is clearly at this level. Goodmanson's definitely at this level. DCL understands the league. He understands how hard times can be. And players like Ampadu, who are natural leaders, turn to these players that have got a wealth of experience and they look around and go, we're going to be all right, boys. Like, we're a unit in here. That's what I'm going to do a video next week on, Ampadu in the England side, and I'm being slightly jovial about it. But I've spoke quite a lot about inferiority complex that you can have when you come up from a lower league. And players like Ampadu turn up every single week, and I honestly don't think Ampadu thinks anybody's better than him in centre midfield. And whether or not that's delusional or not is irrelevant to me. I'm going to do a video on it. But that's how you end up winning games. That's how you end up beating players that are allegedly better than you. Because they're not better than you, are they? Some Notts Forest players are internationals. Some of them have been, played for Anderson, who everybody's chewing off. Is Anderson that much better than Ampadu? What's he better at? They're lower than his int league. He's good on ball. Ampadu's good on ball. Ampadu can hold ball. I'm having a bit of fun with it. But I kind of mean it. The trajectory could have been much different. He started at Chelsea. It could have gone well for him. He got in a couple of relegation sides. It matters massively with the side that you're playing in. You're playing a poor side. You're going to be shit at. You're playing a good side. You're better than. If Gruev was playing for Wolves, he would be cack, wouldn't he? If Ampadu was playing for Wolves, he would be cack. But we're not cack, so they're not cack. That's literally how it works. Get in! I'm just fucking buzzing for them, and they deserve it. Dr. Farke deserves it. Yeah, they were. Struett looked like half and half, man. At one point, he had like a perfect line down his shorts and his top, and like half of it was just full of mud, and other half were like crystal white. To be honest, I think we can draw against Chelsea, Man United, and win Villa and Brighton, providing we don't shit our pants and stay focused. We aren't shitting our pants over here, not with Dr. Farke at the helm, and you know it, mate, and you know it. We could do the squad with an unusual body part 11 or an unusual goal 11. Definitely could do an unusual goal 11. Good stuff, BMG. We're keeping it moving, mate. Merciless. Yes, 78 RPM. What's good? Gruev does all. Yes, Dave Marwood. Gruev does all the dirty work. Proper warrior, quietened all the non-believers. Dr. Farke at the helm, mate. He makes sure all these motherfuckers quieten the haters. I don't know why they are haters anyway. It's not Gruev's fault he gets picked either, is it? And he's proved yesterday that he warrants his place. So people just want to moan about. People will moan about anything. Aronson and Gruev do get very little credit / a lot of stick, and so does Struijk, it seems. All three are vastly underrated in my opinion. And I have been, I wouldn't say a critic of Struijk over years, but I didn't think it was necessarily a Premier League centre-back. And to be honest, I think he is. I think he's come on leaps and bounds. I think he's a big, strong bastard. I think he's horrible. There's like, I like Rodon. Rodon's a better footballer than Pascal, but for where we're at right now, you know, do you want footballers or do you want players that are undefeatable in the air in a duel, in like a physical duel? I think Rodon can get bullied a couple of times and he falls over quite a bit, you know, which really frustrates me, to be honest. Struijk is never doing that in a million month of Sundays. He's standing his ground, he's getting his big fat ass in there, his elbows out, and he's holding players off. Been brilliant for us. And them three, all three of them in centre backs, Biol, Rodon and Struijk, I think are so strong. But JJ, when he's come in, has been brilliant. So Dave Mowd, and he cuts off passing lanes, absolutely. Covers runs off the ball, stuff that you don't always notice. He was class on Friday. Christmas Carol, that was the film. Yes, indeed, AO. Yes, 78 RPM, you absolute legend, mate. Bogle, Okafor and DCL goal bonuses. We love you, brother. You're a legend, mate. 78 RPM. Strikes again. Goal bonuses, mate. Who'd have thunk it? Get up. Cheers, 78. 78 has struck. Goal bonuses coming thick and fast tonight. You know it, MVG. Christmas Carol. Hello, Mum. This is the only channel I do not see multiple vile attacks on our manager and players from so-called fans. It's a madness, 78 RPM. I don't know why it don't come over here. I think it's because obviously it don't get entertained much. But it is brilliant for clickbait and it gets everybody riled up, doesn't it? And, you know, but I can't think of what worse than bumping into somebody in the street and being like, oh, hey up, mate. And then be like, oh, you Farke out? And be like, well, no, but I'm just sort of saying it because, you know, it gets plenty of clicks, doesn't it? So if I'm a happy clapper, I'm clapping because I'm happy. We've been brilliant. The full redemption arc 11, aka the form turnaround, could include Aronson, Firpo and Dan James. Definitely Firpo being there. That's a big turnaround. The only thing with Firpo is he doesn't make the captain because Aronson's a bigger turnaround in form. But he only did it at the championship level. So, and I think he'd have actually been good for us in Prem. But I do think we've upgraded with Goodmanson. So our entire midfield is very underrated, says Clive T. I agree, big man, yeah. Absolutely. Ampadu's excellent. Gruev's were excellent. Gruev, you know, does the hard stuff. I think Longstaff's mint. I think Stack's been brilliant. I think Aronson, when he sort of plays in and around there, been brilliant. We just got to keep at it. Got to keep going where we're going because we're going the right way. After that performance against Forest, I am glad we didn't sell Gruev last summer, but he has to find consistency. He's been consistent, and MVG's coming in there as well. I do believe he has. You can't get consistency without playing regularly, says Clive. That's true also. He's not played, you know, hundreds of minutes. Well, he has played hundreds of minutes, actually, thinking about it. But I meant in terms, you know, I just meant hundreds as in loads of minutes. He may not hit the heights of last night every week, but he's certainly consistent, I think. He's definitely consistent. Sweet left peg 11. My idea of that is players who barely use their right foot as opposed to having a good left foot. Gruev would be in that. Yes, we could do a right-footed version of that as well. Winterburn would be in the left foot as well. He never used his right foot. Nobody has flawless performances though, do they, AO? Let's have it right. Well, let's face it, we love this squad, but flawless performances week in, week out are not... Yeah, we're not going to get at our level. No. Not that many consistent players anywhere, let alone in the Prem. And that is proving to be true. It's only Arsenal's team that are consistent. Cornetto would have been in a body bag had he taken the beat down Aronson took. He wouldn't have survived to walk off the pitch like Aronson did. I agree, big man, to be honest. Because, I mean, I don't know enough about Cornetto, to be fair, to know his character either, but it's a big... It was big. It was borderline... out of order, really, what happened to Aronson, wasn't it? Farke is still very limited. A better manager would have taken us into the top 10. If we celebrate him too much and stick with him next season, then it will cost us. I disagree wholeheartedly, Clive T. I think he's the man to take us forward. I was going to say the same thing, Ming. The so-called top six are always complaining about having shit players. It's the bar just changes, doesn't it? That's kind of what I'm saying about this. Everybody goes, oh, it's all about levels. It's all about levels. Now, well, it is, but at what level is it all about levels? Because Ampadu has not shown this year that he's not the best centre midfielder on the pitch or the best holding midfielder on the pitch. You know, Rodri's struggling a bit this year. Granted, he's had his injury problems and stuff. I'm not saying he's as good as Rodri, for heaven's sake. Rodri is levels, but they're playing at a higher level, aren't they? We're just trying to be aggressive in games and try to pick up points, and Ampadu's all about it. Ampadu's exactly what we need. You'd obviously take Rodri, but is Rodri what we need right now? We need Dr. Farke and characters like Ampadu. I think Grove is very consistent. He's quite inconspicuous, but seldom does much wrong. Agreed, BMG. Agreed. Saka being rubbish for yonks. Is he shit? That's life. Gruev is a water carrier, says MVG. Not flashy, but essential. Gruever's probably finally gained the respect of fans that doubted him, similar in a way to Hargreaves when he came into the England side. Not liked initially and won them over eventually. Well, Hargreaves ended up, I think it was that Portugal game, Hargreaves ended up, again, he was on a pretty big curve with it, because everybody ended up absolutely loving him, didn't they? If we don't get 12 plus points from the next 13, I will eat my own hemorrhoids. Devilled on toast. We are staying up, 78 RPM, loving it, mate, loving the analogy. Some of them now fit and he's scoring again. Yeah, he got a good goal today. Very vivid image, absolutely. Grove is underrated by those who don't understand ball. Love it, Howard Bowden. You need to watch Taylor Swift Shake It Off parody by Bart Baker, Jack. The end is epic. I'll do my best, AO. I said that the Arsenal loss was a good loss and the West Yorkshire boys called me bonkers. It's a kind of reset defeat. I think it's healthier than the bad win against Liverpool. Maybe I am bonkers. I don't. Yeah, it's hard to say there's a good loss, but I do understand what you're saying, Martin. In terms of like, I think it's obviously this is obvious, but it's however you bounce back in it in your next game, and we have. So. If you compare form since the start of December, we're good. West Ham have recovered a bit and Palace are tripe. We'll finish above them if they don't turn it around. Well, we're currently hunting them down, aren't we? So we're points away, we're games away from them. You know, we're a weekend away, aren't we? We're a weekend's results away from being above them. Forest, Spurs, Palace are far more worried than us, and so they should be. Well, we've been in form for quite a while now, which is, you know, you could argue is a bit worrying in terms of like the amount of points that we've picked up, because we are in good form. But we're not. It's not the way we're playing that's the form. It's the way we're turning up. That's where the form's coming from. We're strong, aren't we? We're fucking strong in there. My man Amps ain't fucking about. 3 million per Premier League player. That sounds about right. Ming says 1. Nail on Ed. Catch you all Thursday. That's me off to get ready for the main event. Take it easy, Brett. See you in a bit, dude. We should be aiming for 10th, not 17th, says Clive. I think we are aiming for 10th, mate. We're only... how many points are we off 10th? On 29. 10th are on 34. So we're 5 points off 10th. So we're two wins away from 10th. So I'd argue we are aiming for 10th, not 17th. Try poaching Farke next year. Well, there'll be a few takers. When he's moved on, there will be a few takers, my brother. No doubt about that, White Swan. BMG's loving it. We are lucky to have Farke, says Dave Marwood. He's more than football. He understands Leeds. Keeps the face with him through the ups and downs. Doesn't start pissing and whinging. Take it easy, Ming. Take it easy, dude. Doesn't start pissing and whinging when we lose. Doesn't really get at the board too much. Handles everything really well. Comes across in interviews really well. Doesn't get too up. Don't get too down. You see little glimpses of him getting Radji side at pitch and stuff, which I enjoy. And then you also see little pictures of him yesterday really celebrating the win. It's class A shit. He's a boyo. I think he understands Leeds, the football club. He understands the fan base. He understands how to communicate. He understands what we require right now. With calm, steady German sausage head. It's what we need. Gruev is one of those players that could be plucked from us by Real Madrid or something, like that Braithwaite who went to Barca. Do you remember what we call Gravelish or something? That Everton player. Not Grobbelaar, that's keeper, innit? Gravison. We're at Gravison. And he ended up going to take it easy, Ming. He ended up going to Real Madrid, didn't he, or something? The expectation and pressure of wearing the shirt. That's it, Mark B. That's another big one. The fire beast in the building. If we stay up this year and despite his faults, we should offer Farke a 5-year contract, and that's my controversial comment of the day. Even Dr. Farke is turning AO up. He's turning AO on his head. I've always thought Stewart was class, even when he came in during the first Prem season under Bielsa. He's always had critics, but I've always rated him. I've always rated him as a centre-back, BMG. My own bias, I know what I can do. Sometimes I can get a little bit like everybody's really overly praising a player, so I can be like, well, why are we overly praising him and then slagging him off? So I can. Pascal went through a bit of a stage at Leeds where everybody was like, he is so mint. And I thought, I don't think he's that mint. So I know that that's one of my own little brain things that I try and not do. But that's an understanding your own, when you just don't like somebody or whatever. Stay safe, Mong. And it's not. I've never disliked Mongs getting the love. That's my own. That I do that to myself. I know that. 54 likes, guys. We've got 75 in room. If we could get them likes up, it'd be much appreciated. We're only here for another 2 or 3 minutes because I've got to dip off to work. So, dip off. It's really only me who doesn't give a flying fuck about any other team's results. It's all down to us. 78 RPM. It is not only you, brother. I am exactly the same. I can't help but now look at the results just because it's pure interest. I was going to do a watch along today for Burnley West Ham. I just thought, what's the point? Just have it on, I had it on it background, cracked on with some tunes, and I was like, what is the point? No. I don't really care that much. West Ham can win at 6 points away from us. We got the job done last week on Friday. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Jack, our nucleus bench warm is sufficient to get results over Birmingham. I hope so. Cornetta will be in there, won't they? Hopefully Metcher's back from injury and stuff. Farke out as it's crazy. They've gone, haven't they? He's not limited, Clive. They're all limited. If we were in West Ham's position, I might because they need other teams to drop points to even have a chance of staying up. It's a lot harder to chase the pack, isn't it? When when you keep saying you're always 6 points away, we're 6 points away, we're 6 points away, and then we get a result, it puts a bit of pressure on them to go and beat Burnley. They have done, but they haven't gained anything on us. It's like playing first obviously is a gift and a curse. That rhymes. If you play first and lose, you shit up against it. If you play first and win, it's a lovely feeling. We were 9 points clear last night. Granted, we're only 6 again now, but they haven't moved anywhere nearer to us. Nobody has so far mentioned at the top international goalkeepers saves, and no silent letters either. So far mentioned out top. I'm bamboozled there, Dick Dastardly. I don't want to criticise Voldemort, but in his reaction video, he was begrudging in his praise for Gruev. Admitted that he played well, but threw gritted teeth from the guy who rated Rocker. He loved Rocker, yeah. I don't get it myself, to be honest, BMG. It's Voldemort does this thing as well, where every time, if they're talking about Notts Forest, he'll go straight to praising Notts Forest before he even talks about Leeds, and it's like a weird boner he's got for like other clubs. It's really strange to me. Like, oh well, Notts Forest unbeaten in 4, and he'll like talk like all their stats and that, and I just think, who gives a fuck? We just battered them, just done them a kipper. So, don't that mean how mint we are right now? But no, it doesn't to him, I don't think. And you know it, legendary MVG. First time live. Keep up the great work. Cheers, Graham Smith. Appreciate you, brother. Great performance yesterday. Was in the Cop Unreal Limbs. Absolutely, I was in there with you, brother. It's ace, mate. Ace. What do you guys think of Cornetto not making the bench and Farke making some in front? Yeah. Cutting the mustard. Yeah, he called him out a little bit in the interview, didn't he? Pre-presser. Yeah, I agree, 78 RPM. Yeah, they rated a few of them. I think Farke has now won more matches in the Prem for Leeds in 25 games than he did in 49 for Norwich. That is bang on, yeah. I read that last night, BMG. Square Balls seemed to think it was maybe lack of application in training, BMG. I mean, he's given him minutes, which is unlike him. Jimmy Sandwich is saying Groove best player in the league. He's the best player in the league, mate. The best player in the league. Cornetto can be useful breaking down low blocks, e.g. Burnley and Wolves. He'll get minutes. I think Cornetto is another Ramazani who's struggling with injuries, and that's why Farke isn't playing him. If not the world, BMG, and you know it. 19th most expensive squad in the Prem, and Farke should have us in the top 10. Insanity. Fair enough, Clive. If we stay up, put contract extension on table, and you know it. No, I don't think he's saying that. JJ starts Tuesday and not Beal. I think it might be Beal, Howard. If Beal's fit, because I mean, James Justin's been mint, so let's not argue about 19th, boys. Want Gravenberch? He's recent, isn't he? He's at Liverpool, isn't he, Gravenberch? I was on about Gravison years ago. Farke could be manager of Redemption Arc 11 at half-time versus Man City. I think potentially a couple of games away from sack. Absolutely. Might have got binned at the end of that game. Yes, MVG. You know it, mate. Steady on. Who's saying ignore you, Clive? Come on, guys. The bridge builder. The Badger bridge builder. Wasn't if Zidane who used the term water carrier, which Grove is, and it was a compliment, i.e. a player every team needs. I always thought a water carrier was like a diss, though. Gravison is a very good example of an under-heralded player who went to a massive club and did well. Mascherano, another maybe. I think Mascherano came with a bit of a bigger name in terms of both his actual name and the fact, you know, it was a little wizard one. He came with Tevez, didn't he? So, thank you, all boxed up. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, dude. I proper appreciate it. Thank all boxed up. Shout out. Love Struick. Improves season by season. Very consistent. Just gets on with his job. No fucking about Dave Marwood. Absolutely, mate. Scott Lee. Massive win for us, that. We needed them 3 points just to keep that breathing space. Agreed, Scott Lee. We got it done, mate. If you ask someone what their point is, come on, boys. Let's not argue. What's everybody's point here? What's everybody's point? I agree. I was always backing Viduka. No, I didn't. Thomas Smith. I'll check that out, mate. I will check that out. Yeah, they let all best fans in. The club don't. I don't think the club watch enough at content. He dechomps, doesn't he? I just hope Farke doesn't go proper defensive versus Chelsea. I think we should play 3 attackers and not the 5-4-1. It depends. If James Justin's in there, it is a different setup. We do get forward. It just depends how he goes with it, really. He made some great saves yesterday, to be fair. Yeah, he did. And the Arsenal game ultimately is a throwaway game, and he's punching it in his own net, but it is what it is. I don't know if you're talking to me there, Clive, or not, but I hope nobody's arguing over here, mate. We don't need... No, ain't nobody down round here, mate. We're 6 points off drop. 16th in league. Level on points with 14th. 5 points behind 10th. I'll take it. If you'd have given me that start season with some at nights, we've had some at, you know, the Chelsea game, the Liverpool game, even the Newcastle game that we lost away, just wild games. You know, we've had some entertainment, we've had some stuff to shout about, we've had some stuff to enjoy. Oh, I know, it's all fun and games in here, mate. Ain't nobody down round here. We can't get offended in and on and over here. It's a different feed today, though, Roger Slicker. I've only jumped on. I'm going to jump on for half an hour. I've been here 50 minutes, so don't undermine my time, Roger Slicker. This is my time. You're on my clock right now. If anybody's going to be... You know, I used to get the clock watchers in. You know, I'm having a crack. I'm the clock watcher today. I've gone off to work, mate. I'm going to miss train for this. I think I'm actually going to miss the train, so I'm going to have to go in a minute. Stay loose, everybody. Stay loose. Keep it rigid. Oh, MVG in the building again. The legendary MVG. Nobody do it how he does it. Shout out to MVG for the super chat and handing them memberships out like Santa Claus. Shout out to 78 RPM for the Bogle, Okafor and DCL goal bonus. And shout out to Ming for the DCL goal bonus. Appreciate it. You go careful there now, my love. Take it easy, Clive. Take it easy, Thomas Smith. Appreciate you, brother. BMG, you're a dude. Robin Lynch. Ayo, you know it. Smash us a like on your way out, guys, if you could. Dick Dastardly. Roger Slicker, of course. Nobody do it how he does it. I don't know if Enar's been here, but he's probably in the wings. Scott Lee. Shout out to Dave Marwood. All boxed up. Been some legendary comments in here today, so I appreciate every which one of you, as you well know. Take it easy, Scott Lee. See you in a bit, everybody. I'm off to work. Hopefully going to catch this train. If I miss this train, I'm late for work. Take it easy. Cheers, Martin. Cheers, dude. Take it easy, everybody. Appreciate you. I'll go live tomorrow night. Smash us a like on the way out, guys. It does help. Take it easy.
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is.
Boom.